Tonight, one by one, Aussie states are stamping out gay conversion therapy. And tonight, it looks like New South Wales will be following suit. For Aaron Kelly, who was once an evangelical pastor living a double life, the news can't come soon enough. Sarah Harris spoke with him.
I believed it was a sin. You believe these messages that the church teach you time and time again, that homosexuality is an abhorrent sin, that it's unreconcilable to the Christian faith.
Aaron Kelly was 14 when he developed his first crush on another boy. But his conservative religious upbringing meant that for decades he was forced to hide what his church taught was a shameful secret.
Homosexuality is just lumped in there with alcoholism, drug addiction, all of that. It's seen as this thing that can be fixed if you submit yourself to God in the right way.
So praying the gay away.
Praying the gay away. That's their main method.
I detach you from all of this now. I break every generational curse.
This is what conversion therapy can look like. In extreme cases, it can mean fasting, conversion camps, and even torture. For Aaron, it was much more insidious, disguised as prayer and spiritual counselling.
I might have a couple of days where I was on top of the world, feeling really strong, feeling like, oh, I'm not attracted to men anymore. And then it's back and you crash.
When prayer didn't fix him, Aaron was promised marriage to a woman would. At the urging of his church, he wed a friend from his congregation, Jackie.
I was expecting this moment, like the Beast transformation in Beauty and the Beast. And I remember saying I do. I remember the pastor saying you can kiss your bride. Nothing. And thinking, now I'm trapped. And then getting to the honeymoon suite, going to the bathroom to cry because I was like, I can't do this.
Aaron says he had no choice but to bury his feelings and fully commit to God and his teachings. He became a father and a preacher, even founding his own church.
And the word of God was what? Magnified, and the number of disciples multiplied.
It was a double life Aaron wrestled with for years. And when he turned to the Bible for answers, searching for passages that specifically outlawed homosexuality, he realised there were none.
Internally, my world just crumbled. These conversion practices that had pushed me in a direction that I so desperately wanted to be healed that I would have done anything that these Christian leaders said to do, and I did. But then it had brought people in that didn't need to be brought in, like my wife Jackie and now my son. And so I felt like coming out was never going to be an option because it would break her heart. What would it mean for our church and all these people who knew who I was? I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I was just done. And drove my car to this bridge and sat there for ages with this letter that I'd written to Jackie in my hand, thinking, I don't want them to ever know that I'm gay. I want them to just think I was depressed, that I was struggling with something. And got out of my car, left the letter on the dash, and got to the edge of this bridge. And this woman pulled up. It was like 1 a.m, and she ran over to me and she grabbed my hand. She's like, stop. Nothing is worth this. I don't know what you're going through, but nothing is worth this. And she pulled me back and put her arms around me, and I hugged her, just crying. And she made me promise that I would drive home. And I did. I got in the car, drove home, and I knew what I then had to do. The next day I had to come out to my wife. We sat down in our lounge room. I said, I'm gay.
Saying those words out loud to your wife.
Yeah, I was terrified because I love Jackie. I loved her so much, and I still love her so much. We talked through it, and she's like, we'll do what we need to do.
When Aaron finally came out publicly in 2020, his life imploded. He was sacked from his church and shunned by his community. 2 years after Aaron came out, conversion therapy was finally banned in his home state of Victoria. And while Queensland and the ACT have also criminalised the practice, New South Wales has dragged its feet on making conversion therapy illegal. The bill is right now being debated in state parliament, where it's getting pushback from the Australian Christian lobby, who argue it's an infringement on religious freedoms.
A state that begins to impinge upon those freedoms is not a good state for New South Wales, and so we are concerned about this legislation and will continue to say so.
Or, as Pastor Andrew Corbett puts it, an attempt to criminalise prayer.
I absolutely do not think prayer is a criminal act. Not at all. We're not talking about magic. Prayer is simply talking to God. I don't think a pastor of a church or anyone of any religion should be criminalised for praying for another person who has requested that prayer at all.
It's not an end to prayer. Prayer is a conversation with God. We're not saying that you can't pray, but using prayer as a manipulative tool to force someone into your box should never be allowed.
With the love and support of his son and now ex-wife, Jackie, Aaron is slowly building a new, more authentic life.
Have you set foot inside a church since coming out?
Yeah, I have a couple of times. I went to a Christmas service. My son graduated grade 6. He goes to the same school I went to when I was a kid, and that was held in a church. And I still attend online services on a regular basis.
Every day, God's inviting us to respond to Him.
How is life for you now?
I'm the happiest I've ever been, honestly. I'm living authentically me. In a relationship with someone who I'm in love with.
And to love someone without conditions.
Like, I loved Jackie, but I'm romantically in love with someone and they mean the world to me, and I'm feeling things I've actually never felt before. I'm truly happy. It's the best time of my life.
How can you not support him? I mean, it's obvious to me. It's just a mistake. People shouldn't try to force anyone to be what they're not. It doesn't work. It's just nonsense. I'm hoping that here or in New South Wales... No, we're not in New South Wales now, are we?
No, we're in Victoria.
I'll be there tomorrow. But they should outlaw conversion therapy. Don't you agree?
So I can give you an update on that. So far, nothing has happened. Amendments to the bill will be debated tonight in the New South Wales Upper House. We don't know exactly how the Liberal opposition are going to be voting, whether it's a block or there's going to be a conscience vote. So the opposition leader, Mark, speaking before, has said he supports the idea of banning gay conversion therapy in its sort of more extreme forms. There are some concerns that have been expressed about the definition of it, whether you capture parents in that. They're trying very specifically not to capture just prayer, which is important because that addresses a point that was raised in the package. So all those things are being teased out. It'll be interesting to see how the opposition votes ultimately. Meanwhile, if you or anyone you know is in need of support, help is available 24/7 through Lifeline, that number 13 11 14.
Beautiful story, Sarah.